A friend sent me this link, and it's from the Olympian, and it's got these smiling ladies handing toothbrushes out to. This was just really bizarre. Homeless, a homeless liaison for the Tumwater School District. And there's a little volunteer, and there are so many paid people that work in these great big buildings, a lot of them who are in these giant executive buildings who work in housing. And I remember when one of them got the job a long time ago, and a guy told me that she laughed and said, yeah, the housing is for us. It's for us who work in the executive housing. It's not for these people. And it's so awful. There's like a hot dog commercial on top of all that. Gross. So anyway, we've got the number of homeless students in Washington is at an all-time high. And they're just building these buildings left and right, brand new. And, this Meridian. And I'll go if you want me to. I'll go back on Google Earth. I went on Google Earth and went up and down the Vegas Strip during the day and never saw any parking garages that had a Meridian with plants in them. So this is even beyond Caesar's Palace and everything. And I've been around on the weekends when there are men fluffing them and, doing like Japanese flower arranging on these things. And they get replanted. I remember a few months ago it was a different theme. So they get replanted going all the way down this thing and just really putting money into it. And it's funny, I asked an ex-evergreener who's part of the hive mind, what we would call a progressive liberal. I said, why do you have these homeless problems, right? Why is the number of homeless? And he said, well, we just don't have enough money in this state. And it's like, well, if you don't have enough money in this state, then why are you just building like drunken sailors and just making these bigger and bigger things and hiring more and more people who do nothing but not answer phones, and there's no way you can get to them, and there's no way you can even know who they are or even if they even exist. And this building, by the way, is quite different. The other one was maybe half as big, so it's eating up the parking lot space that was there before, and so it is encroaching. Where are people going to park now? Because before that was built sensibly. It was half building, half parking lot. Now it's all building, no parking lot, and where are people going to park? So yeah, more of this kind of senseless, not thinking through, probably going to be a sick building. While we've got the number of homeless students in Washington is at an all-time high. And it's just really sick. And then it's really crazy that you've got these women smiling, handing out, it says they're handing out toothbrushes and toothpaste. It's like, lady, they need a home. They don't need toothbrush and toothpaste. They need a damn home, And then they send the volunteers out while the people who have so many jobs in these agencies, millions of dollars are thrown at these agencies. I had a homeless man once show me some actual government papers he got, that showed that Salvation Army gets $80 per night, $80 per night. And this was a decade ago. And at that time, you could stay in a nice hotel for $80 a night. So, there's a lot of just rigmarole going on where millions of dollars are going to these agencies that are just overpaying people who have an office. They throw these little volunteers out that literally pat themselves on the back and put themselves in the darn newspaper as if what they're doing is newsworthy, giving a little homeless child toothbrushes and toothpaste. Shame on you all. I feel like reading passages of Charles Dickens right now of how can you live with yourselves? How can any of us live with ourselves knowing that we're paying people to do but nothing while we allow them to these agencies to get millions of dollars while we've got homeless families here that can't get anything. And by the way, that, where are these people from? Where is everyone here from? What are they doing exactly? What the heck is going on? It just gets creepier and creepier and creepier. There's that poor homeless child, wasn't even able to probably wash their hair. Just so sad. This is who is really missing out and getting nothing. So these folks get their little photo ops. Take good care, everyone. I just wanted to share that. Homelessness at an all-time high. It's just been going through the roof in this Democrat state where they just have agencies. There's a ton of agencies downtown all over the place where people are getting paid. There's a place called the Family Support Center. I tried to film in there once. They get paid. There's a woman that gets paid to sit at the door. There's people in an office just paid to tell people, oh, go to your local churches. It's basically Marxists telling people to go to churches, and using words like resources in the community. And meanwhile, so there's just all this money going to these, fakey places. And we've got homeless students. How do we expect people to do well in this world? My God. Oh God, I just feel like weeping and just weeping for these poor children and these poor families. I just, here we are, a Democrat state, and this is what you get. You get toothpaste and a toothbrush. There you go. And they get everything. They don't, what? This is something I wanted to mention. And I was so sad I did not film it the other day. But I was coming down like a busy street with shirker buildings on either side. And no. I was actually in my neighborhood, and it was a shirker who came out from behind a dumpster. So she was not even on the little dotted lines here, and she wasn't even in a shirker neighborhood, but they tend to park over across the way. But and so she was just scooting herself out from an alleyway behind apartments and looked at the ground and refused to look up and was just hurling herself across the street. And I actually felt like I had to teach her a lesson. I actually honked my horn and kept going. I wouldn't have run over her or anything, but, I forced her to stop. Because, here they're in their own turf, but they run out into the street. It's interesting. And they never look up. It's just part of the fifth column indoctrinating us to realize that these people, because anyone with sense, of course, cars, you're not supposed to trust them. I don't know. I've always looked, every which way but loose before crossing anything. Maybe I lived in New York too long, and it's weird. Maybe these people are just brain dead, but I always feel like it's something deeper that, and these guys did the same thing. They just, hustled themselves out and never looked up. They never look up or acknowledge the driver. Not that you have to, but it's like they're just always in this this mode of, I can just go out into the street and the Red Sea's gonna part. And it's like, whoa, what reality have these people been living in? I would be smushed if I was like coming out from behind dumpsters, not even looking up, or just crossing streets without even, looking up. It's just it's very fascinating psychology. Anyway, thank you. Bye.